It's like that whole like that preacher voice people have, like
Right, yeah.
where it gets like deeper and like I'm just Harrison, man. I'm just trying to I'm just being me. So, but I think it's like anything, right? Like even, you know, in podcasting, which I'm sure you guys have experienced, like people want to hear from Thomas and Josh, not who
The
you know,
caricatures
exactly,
of Thomas and Josh.
exactly.
Right,
Whatever.
100%. Yeah.
And it's for everything, right? Just be yourself.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm sure, like even, you know, in every form of communication, like that's what they'll tell you, right? Number one thing is be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So what do you think of? I'm gonna get deep on this one, man.
By all means.
What do you think of the increased prevalence of atheism in our society?
mm-hmm.
What do you think is causing that?
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, like atheism to me isn't like Christians get scared of atheism in
Okay.
a sense, like as if it's like some enemy or something like that.
Mm.
But I think in a sense, like it's not the worst thing because atheism is still a belief system,
Right,
right? It's just a belief in nothing.
right.
But that's like,
An undying belief in nothing too, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that, I mean, where it stems from, like obviously, in like especially in Canada, like we, even more than the U.S., like we're a post-Christian country, right?
Mhm.
And so Christianity is not the predominant worldview like it once was, like or even like it is in the States, right?
Right.
The U.S. is different
Yeah,
than,
true,
than
true.
us, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's, I mean, as far as like why people are atheists, I think that a lot of it is because we're in this post-Christian culture. Like there's literally people that have grown up like not going to like church or having any, you know, any influence of anything,
Sure.
right? Whereas like maybe the generation before us, it was like everyone at some point was introduced to church in some way.
Right.
And so now we have a generation of people that have no history of church and like they've never stepped into a church. And then maybe everything that they've heard about church or heard about God is like super negative and
Yeah.
super like, I don't want to be affiliated with that. And so atheism just kind of seems like the logical solution to people that still want to believe in something. It's like
Right.
there's still a lot of people who are like, I don't know what I believe, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever. But I think for atheism, a lot of times it's kind of like a stark stance, in a sense, like against Christianity, where it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to believe in a God. There is no God. Whereas like, I guess an agnostic, I don't know if you've heard that word
I have.
before.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's just kind of someone who's like, I don't know for sure
Yeah.
what's out there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody believes in something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just dependent on what that is. Like
Yeah.
I think science is now almost like the religion,
Yeah.
you know, where people are giving everything to science and science has all the answers.
Yeah.
And I don't know about that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did a thing last January. There's a bunch of messages basically just kind of answering big questions people have about Christianity. And I did one on science, right? Like,
Yeah.
does science jive with Christianity?
Right.
And I mean, I don't want to bore you guys for 45 minutes, but
I find this very fascinating. By
Oh,
the
yeah,
way.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
yeah, I'll send you that. I can send you that message, the link, so you can
Yeah.
listen to the whole thing in detail. I also haven't I don't got the stats memorized and stuff
Right,
like that.
yeah.
But no, I think science points to God, right? And I think that science, I believe God created everything, right? And so
Sure.
I think that science is just a function of what God has created, right? And He's created the world with order and in order to point to things. And the thing is, like, even if you go with a predominantly science worldview, where it's like science explains everything, like for example, like the Big Bang, right?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
you can believe in the Big Bang, but you're still left with the question, like, what caused
it?
the Big Bang,
Yeah.
right?
Like
So-
what came before
What was
that?
before.
Exactly.
100%,
So
yeah.
everything, like, inevitably, no matter what your belief, you're still in some way gonna circle back to this question of like this ultimate like creator. Where did everything come from?
You run out of solutions
Yeah.
eventually in a lot of science, right?
Yeah. I almost don't think that we can fathom, you know, like how grand the answer is, you know? I don't know. I've done a lot of soul searching for this sort of thing for sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. It's I've also read it. There's a book called, I want to say it's called The Serpent's Promise. I'll look up on the break what the actual title is, but it's actually a book that points to how religion and science can coexist. It's very fascinating. There was even if you get down to like a genetic level of people, I want to say it's a crazy small amount of people that you can trace back the ultimate lineage of pretty much everybody on this planet to.
Yeah.
So at one point in time, there was perhaps
a handful of people on
Yeah.
Earth, right?
Yeah, it's the. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to speak in sound
bites.
I don't
No,
know what the word
absolutely
is,
not.
But I was listening to a thing too. The idea of like a genetic Adam and a genetic Eve, right? Where everything kind of started. So,
Yeah. The book is absolutely fascinating.
Right.
That
Interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and it kind of it doesn't take sides. It's just like they can actually coexist.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting to me too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like because there's a lot of atheists out there who are very much in your face about it.
Yeah.
Almost as much as, let's say, an in your face Christian person or something, right? To give stark opposites. But that's equally as annoying too, at least to me.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And to me, I always think, like I guess I'm more of the camp of I don't maybe know the solution, but or the answer, I guess would be the better word, but
does anybody though?
Exactly. And then I think atheism is there's kind of a egocentrism to it of we humans are so great, there's no way there can be something more than us, right? And I think that's an extremely narrow worldview as well, right? And like you just said, okay, yeah, you can go, even if everything's absolutely correct, back to the Big Bang, there's still a whole whack beyond that of what it maybe doesn't answer, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's always, I think, in life, like, there's always two extremes, right? Where it's opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, like, I don't know if you guys see this, but like, I sort of feel like we kind of live just our culture where people feel like they need to be on an extreme
in one
somewhere,
camp or the other,
right?
absolutely.
And it's like, this is our enemy, and we don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, like, I find that if you live in extremes, like, it's gonna be a lonely place, and you're gonna be filled with hate more than
it kind of forces you to dislike 49 or 50% of everyone else, right?
Exactly.
Which is, we've talked about that before, right? This is my box, this is your box. Everyone in that box is bad, everyone on this box is good, right? Like, I think we're pretty up the middle on most things in life. And
I'm gonna plug my blog here, joshblaze.com.
Hey, no, but I'm bleeping this out. No free ads.
_middle. Literally 3 days ago, I released an article. I just like to write all the time. It's called The Middle.
Yeah.
And I say in it that the truth lies probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to go there, you might be able to find it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not to get preachy on you guys, but if like the thing
preach away, my
by
friend.
all means.
Yeah, I'm gonna start preaching. The thing that I love about Jesus, like when I actually like understand him, and one thing, like when I understand Jesus, back to this idea of the Bible, like the Bible's not boring. The more I understand him, like, I mean, the better he is. But the thing about Jesus is that he was always in the middle, right? And that's why, like, if you know his story, like religious people, that's who killed him.
Right.
It wasn't atheists. It was religious people that killed him. And so the religious people didn't like him. And like there was like these two sects, right? Where it's like extreme on one side, extreme on the other, and Jesus in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, like, I want to live my life like Jesus. Like, I want to find myself in the middle, right? And, and I think that, like, for Christians, and I mean, that the bad heat that they get a lot of times, like Christians, like, it's their fault.
Yeah.
Like, they brought it upon themselves, right? Because they're trying to be like in this extreme, right? Where but Jesus is somewhere in the middle. And I mean, to your blog, I got to check it out now. But I think that
there you go.
It's and that's
I got one reader.
You got one new subscriber.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, the middle's the place. There's more friends in the middle, I think, than anywhere.